A man bends his arms like rubber and crawls like something from a horror movie. This man can stretch the skin on his neck right over his mouth like a mask. And one guy can casually fold himself through a tennis racket. This is real footage of people moving in ways that shouldn't be possible. So when I first saw this clip, I thought it was AI. This is Kid Strobe, aka Frenchie Baby, a dancer who can obviously move in freaky ways. He's known for having the most flexible arms in the world. Frenchie Baby started bone breaking and turfing when he was a teenager. Turfing is a style of dance that began in Oakland, California. It's all about storytelling through movement. Kid Strobe and his friends would perform on public transit to earn money and stay involved in the dance world. Frenchie Baby's extreme flexibility has led to a lot of big opportunities. He's been featured in music videos. He's appeared on shows like Romania's Got Talent, where he got the golden buzzer, America's Got Talent, So You Think You Can Dance, The Ellen Show, and Jimmy Kimmel Live. So you ever seen anything like this before? Yeah, I have not either. That is crazy. So this is Gary Turner, aka Stretch. Obviously his skin is incredibly stretchy. He holds the Guinness World Record for the stretchiest skin on the planet thanks to a rare condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It affects the body's connective tissue, making his skin super stretchy without it tearing. He can pull the skin on his stomach more than 6 inches away from his body. It's very surreal to watch. Gary's been showing off his bizarre talent for years, performing all over the world and even joining sideshows like the Circus of Horrors and Ripley's Believe It or Not. He's pulled off some seriously wild stunts on stage, like stretching his neck skin over his face like you just saw, or using his skin as a drink holder. It's freaky, sure, but also oddly fascinating? I don't know how to describe it. It's really weird. Beyond the shock factor though, Gary's used his condition to educate people about Ehlers-Danlos and raise awareness. Ever looked at a tennis racket and thought to yourself, yeah, I could probably squeeze my whole body into that? Well, this next guy has. This is Daniel Browning Smith, aka Rubber Boy. Wonder how he got that name. He's hands down one of the most flexible people to ever walk the planet. He's a contortionist, actor, stuntman, TV host, all-around performer who holds 7 Guinness World Records for his flexibility. His body moves in ways that just don't seem possible. That's because he has a rare genetic condition called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which gives his joints and skin an extreme level of stretch and bend that most people could just never pull off. Daniel grew up in Meridian, Mississippi with a brother and sister. From the time he was 4, he was obsessed with contortionists and dreamed of becoming the best in the world. His first trick was jumping off the top bunk of his bed and landing in a full straddle split, which, yeah, shocked the hell out of his family. As a teen, he started doing street performances to show his flexibility and get noticed. When he turned 18, he joined the circus and then started formal training under Master Lu Yi at the San Francisco School of Circus Arts. And from there, things took off and Rubber Boy became one of the most well-known contortionists in the world. If you're a horror movie fan, there's a good chance you've seen this next guy and you just didn't know it. He's been playing zombies and other creatures since 2016. Troy James is a contortionist and actor who's built a reputation for moving like something straight out of one of your worst nightmares, in the best way possible though. He's known for his freaky fast exorcist crab walk, crazy backbends. A lot of people first saw him on America's Got Talent, where he bent himself into shapes that had the judges squirming in their seats, but before that, he was already acting in horror movies. Troy is from Canada and actually worked a regular office job before going full-time into contortion and acting. What makes him stand out isn't just how flexible he is, but how he uses that flexibility. He embodies these freaky, inhuman creatures. If you've ever seen The Void, Channel Zero, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Rabbit, the Chucky TV series, you've seen him in action. I love it. No CGI needed. That's just all him. We need more of that in modern movies. These creepy images were shared to X by Scared for Life 2, who wrote that their friend works at Central Library in Manchester. In October of 2019, the uploader popped in for a visit, and the friend shared these images. They came from the security camera in the basement corridors. Now, I don't know about this place having any history of paranormal activity, but it was built in 1934, not super old, especially by England standards, but it is enough time to have racked up some history. And if anyone had died in the building, or was just someone who had a fondness for the place, maybe they never left. Remember the Myrtles Plantation? I've talked about it on the channel a number of times. It's said to be one of the most haunted places in the United States. Well, now we have some footage. This security camera happened to pick up something incredibly startling during a tour, right in the middle of the day. So the group is standing in the foyer. They're slowly making their way deeper into the home, very slowly, as this is not a group of spring chickens. And then suddenly, this happens. So a series of super loud bangs on the wall are heard, the mirror shakes violently, and then a sculpture falls down. Now, could this have been staged? There's always the possibility, but I hope that's not the case, because if it was, that was pretty messed up. You really shouldn't be playing pranks on old folks like this, especially with loud bangs. So this eerie piece of footage comes from a government office in Mexico City. According to the staff, especially the security guards, strange things were happening there all the time. They said they were constantly getting spooked, but the most disturbing part was that several of them claimed to see some kind of monk-like figure that would appear and harass them. People would also report hearing cries and screams in the early hours of the morning. Then, one night, a security camera finally captured this, which looked exactly like the creepy figure that had been terrifying them night after night. Imagine you're alone at home in the middle of the night, cleaning up around the house, when suddenly something cuts through the silence. It's a whisper, and not only is it a whisper, but it's your name. This is what happened to Reddit user IggyTalls_15, who said, "I heard someone very distinctly whisper Mike from behind me. I thought one of my kids had walked downstairs, but when I saw there was no one, I bolted. It was just me and the dogs/cat around 12 a.m. This is also an old home from the 1850s, and a crew member who died in the Halifax explosion lived here in the early 1900s. Take a listen to this and a watch. Security footage from Wellington Indoor Market in Telford, England caught something that left workers a bit rattled the next day. When traders showed up one morning, they found a bunch of boxes scattered across the floor and stairs. At first they thought someone had broken in, of course, but when they checked the CCTV, what they saw was something else entirely. A dark, shadowy figure walking up the stairs and then knocking over the boxes. Now, it's not very easy to make out the figure walking up the stairs, but if you look closely enough, you can see some sort of shadowy shape appear. The boxes falling are clearly visible, though. Market manager Kay Bokai said, "We came into the market in the morning and the boxes were all over the place. On the floor, over the stairs. We thought we'd had an intruder, so we obviously went straight to the CCTV. We couldn't believe what we saw. All the hairs stood up on the back of my neck. There was nobody there when the boxes fell off. We watched it again and we could see the shadow walking up the stairs, then chucking the boxes over." End quote. Now, this market isn't new to strange activity. It's been around since 1244. According to Kay, sometimes there are strange things that go on when people are alone. Some people say they have seen a shadow go past them. She also mentioned an incident where, quote, "two people were alone in the market. They were talking when they heard coughing coming from the other side of the building. When they looked around, it was totally empty." Other weird moments include doors slamming and hand dryers turning on by themselves. Who is this staring at the security camera after hours? So a security guard monitoring a CCTV system got an alert that someone was on the property after hours, well past closing time when no one should have been there, other than him, of course. When he checked the footage, what the camera caught was unsettling, to say the least. There's this small, ghostly figure with glowing eyes standing in the distance. Some have said it looks like a little boy, standing there, staring right at the camera. The clip has since been linked to the legend of the Pocong, a ghost from Indonesian and Malaysian folklore. According to the belief, a Pocong is the spirit of a dead person who's still wrapped in their burial shroud. In some versions of the legend, the soul remains trapped if the ties around the shroud aren't removed after 40 days. And the spirit is forced to wander, often appearing as this pale figure with bound limbs and a haunting stare. A pool stick in a church playroom randomly snaps in half without anyone near it, and the church is already known for decades of paranormal stories. A hospital security guard watches a wheelchair turn itself around in the middle of an empty room, and in Pakistan a motorcycle appears to roll and tip over by itself. This is disturbing surveillance footage experts can't debunk. What in the world is going on with this pool stick? This one comes from Reddit user Pumpkin Man, who shared the footage along with the caption, "I have a video of surveillance camera footage capturing a pool stick inexplicably snap itself in half on the leg of a pool table. This happened in a children's playroom at a small rural church. There have been dozens of other incidents of paranormal activity at this church, spanning multiple decades. The people, who I know personally, that took this video and work at this church fully believe the place is haunted by a child ghost." Now, I gotta say, I've seen some paranormal videos on this channel before. This one's up there for me. This is pretty weird. The way that thing's moving sounds like they believe what they're seeing. This next video comes from a hospital. A security guard was doing his rounds when he came across this wheelchair in the middle of the room. So he stands there, scratching his head, probably wondering what it's doing sitting there, but then it starts to move. At first he doesn't notice it, but when he turns back to look at the chair, it's of course now facing in the total opposite direction, so all he can do is stand there stunned, likely too petrified to move. It's bad enough worrying about your bike getting stolen as it is without ghosts getting involved. This security footage was captured in Pakistan back in 2020. So what in the world? Now, there doesn't seem to be any strong winds blowing. Of course, there's nobody nearby either. Nothing that would cause the bike to roll on its own like that and then fall to the ground. So what happened? Was a ghost trying to steal someone's bike, then realized that they had no clue how to ride and just ditched it? Probably. But what do you all think? Thoughts in the comments, please. This one comes from Reddit user Signal Pollution 4881, who says he used to work at a haunted movie theater. He shared this security footage of something seeming to move past the camera. Take a look at this. Now, this footage on its own, I mean, it's weird, but it's not that crazy, right? Well, the backstory, there's a lot going on. So he and his brother worked the night shift cleaning the theater, and from their first shift, something felt off. During that first night, the uploader heard a baby crying in an empty auditorium, even though the building had been closed for hours. He searched the entire place, but it was empty. Over the next several months, they experienced odd things, doors opening and closing on their own, unexplained footsteps in the upstairs projector room. Eventually, even his brother, who'd been skeptical at first, became convinced that something was definitely wrong. About 6 or 7 months in, the uploader was alone upstairs when he saw a black figure about 20 feet away. It seemed to have no face. It was just this eerie, shadowy mass. Terrified, he ran off without even saying a word to his brother. From then on, he constantly felt like he was being watched through the projection windows. About a year later, his brother saw a thick black smoke cloud form out of nowhere in the bathroom before vanishing. Shaken, they finally started talking about their experiences. They kept working there though, because the pay was decent and the shifts were short. The activity mostly quieted down, just the occasional mysterious footstep. Sometimes they'd see things moving and would hear disembodied voices. This video came later after they'd already quit. It was sent to him by a former coworker around Halloween and seems to show the same black figure he once saw in the projection booth.
At number 5 is Hell House LLC. If you're a fan of horror and found footage, you might have heard of the infamous Abaddon Hotel in Rockland County, New York. This place has a sinister history that's the stuff of nightmares. In a chilling documentary, the crew investigates a mysterious accident that took the lives of 15 people, including the Hell House company staff and their first group of attendees. The crew's pursuit of answers leads them to Sarah Havel, the sole survivor from the Hell House team. Her footage unveils a series of unexpected events hinting at the hotel's connection to a satanic cult, but things actually are about to get a lot more twisted from here. After watching the eerie tapes, Michael, a crew member, decides to contact Diane, the producer. However, he stumbles upon something too horrifying to describe. When Diane and her cameraman break into the Abaddon Hotel, they discovered a room level 2C where they believed Sarah was supposed to be staying, but there's no escaping the malevolent forces from within. Sarah, the person they've been speaking to this entire time, is no more than a mere ghostly apparition, and there was never any survivors to begin with. As they realize the truth, the camera captures their terrifying demise, leaving you to question the boundaries of reality and the supernatural. Watch this at your peril, but be prepared for sleepless nights. At number 4 is the horror in the high desert. This is the unsolved mystery of Gary Hinge, the amateur hiker who ventured into the heart of the Great Basin Desert, only to disappear without a trace. It all began in July of 2017 when Gary set out from the town of Ruth, Nevada on a solo expedition to a cabin he'd previously encountered. Days turned into weeks, and as his housemate Simon Rogers grew increasingly concerned, the police were called in. A massive search operation ensued, but it turned up nothing, as Gary's truck was discovered 55 miles from Ruth. But here's where it gets bizarre. The truck was teeming with fingerprints that didn't belong to Gary, and barefoot fingerprints led away from it, not matching his own. And then the investigation took a digital turn. Gary was a YouTube vlogger known as Scorpion Sam with a sizable following. His last video recounted a strange encounter near the cabin, but it was met with skepticism. Weeks later, hikers stumbled upon Gary's backpack containing a gruesome find: his severed hand clutching a video camera. Analysts revealed that the hand had been severed while he was alive no more than 5 weeks earlier. The camera unveiled the truth. At number 3 is Lake Mungo. This documentary starts about a family grappling with the loss of their teenage daughter who drowned. There's no gore, no creepy creatures, just a sense of unease. The slow burn of this film works like a psychological vice, tightening with each revelation. If you watch in a dark room right before bed, the atmosphere becomes oppressive. You're drawn into the web of grief and the unknown, and then it happens. An image so unexpected and terrifying that it's seared into your memory. Lake Mungo proves that the most chilling horrors aren't supernatural entities, but the depths of human emotion. And don't be surprised if you lose some sleep. At number 2 is The Last Broadcast. Before The Blair Witch, we had The Last Broadcast, and this obscure mockumentary takes us on a spine-tingling journey into the dark depths of the New Jersey Pine Barrens, where a group of filmmakers met a gruesome fate while documenting the Jersey Devil. The film's vintage aesthetic doesn't just add an old school charm, it enhances the realism, immersing you in the horrifying tale. As it unfolds, reality and fiction seamlessly merge, leaving you questioning what's real, and the result is a vital indie film, one that leaves a haunting mark. When the chilling reveal comes, it's a punch to the gut. The Last Broadcast isn't just for the faint of heart, but if you dare to watch, prepare for a cursed experience like no other. Man-Eater Tragedy. Released in 1980, it's a notorious film credited with pioneering the found footage horror genre. The exploitation classic follows an American documentary crew whose cruelty towards a native Amazon tribe results in the gruesome end. It's infamous for its disturbing, realistic, unaliving scenes and its relentless brutality. The film's shocking portrayal of violence and the eerie ethics of filmmaking has sparked debates and controversies for decades. While it's considered a transgressive masterpiece, it's not for the faint of heart, and watching it may leave you with images you cannot erase. I am serious, you guys. At number 10 is Safe Haven from VHS 2. I'm kicking off this list with Safe Haven because I know some of you guys are gonna seek out these videos against my better judgment. So out of all the entries on this list, if you're gonna watch anything, it better be this one. Safe Haven is a short in VHS 2 which takes you deep into the heart of Indonesian horror, and unless you speak Indonesian, you're gonna wanna watch with some subtitles, because there ain't any English to be found here. The recovered footage is from a news crew as they infiltrate an eerie cult's remote compound, hoping to expose their dark secrets. But what unfolds is a descent into pure terror. The brutality is in your face, and it all looks gut-wrenchingly real. If this short succeeds at anything, it's cranking up the tension because you're gonna feel your heart race. The found footage earned critical acclaim and reputation as one of the best found footage horror experiences ever, so brace yourself for a bone-chilling experience as you witness the cult's nightmarish ritual. But keep in mind, it's definitely not for the faint of heart, nor is any of the rest of the videos in this list. At number 9 is The Sacrament, which is essentially Jim Jones found footage. Is a retelling of the events in Jonestown where the pastor caused a mass unaliving, this time featuring Vice journalists who come into the heart of this eerie community, once thought to be a utopia. This cursed found footage unveils the sinister underbelly of religious leader known as the Father, aka Jim Jones, and his twisted followers. The documentary team unwaveringly investigates this secluded compound as they're met with increasing suspicion and deception from the cult. Father's charisma turns to menace, and the utopian community morphs into a nightmare. With cyanide-laced drinks, the hostages, and mass unalivings, it's a descent into madness to say the very least. If you're enjoying this video so far, please support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Most Amazing, and ringing that notification bell. At number 8 is the Slumber Party Alien Abduction. I love this one because the camera is strapped to a doggy. I don't love it because of what happens to the doggy, but I'm happy there's a dog in it. Here you've got Gary, Randy, Sean, Denny, Jen, and Zach. They decide to film their lakeside escapades by strapping a camera to their dog, Tank, a Yorkshire Terrier on a mission to capture all the fun, but things take a sinister turn when gray aliens decide to crash the party, lurking beneath the water as the group swims. As night falls, chaos ensues. The aliens plunge the house into darkness, creating chaos and snatching up Zach in a blink. They terrorize the rest of the gang, dragging them off in their sleeping bags with plans to drown them in the lake. Only Gary, Randy, and Jen, and Tank the doggy, manage to bolt, but their escape plan gets tanked when Tank barks and leads the aliens right to them. Come on, buddy. It's a full-blown horror show with fake police lights turning out to be a trap, and the abductions left and right. Gary gets lifted into the air by alien tractor beams, while Tank, injured and alone, watches as the camera's battery fades. This one is a real chiller. At number 7 is the Borderlands. In this chilling tale, 3 Vatican investigators venture into a 13th century church with sinister secrets hidden deep within the walls. When they roll up, the priest tries to win them over with footage of objects moving on the altar, but still, the film crew remains skeptical. That night, local hooligans burn a sheep outside of their digs, and it's getting weird. To make a long story short, they end up discovering an eerie door with pagan symbols leading to a dark, hellish descent, echoing with cries and screams, and things just go from bad to worse. As they journey into the depths, they uncover a horrifying history of sacrifice and a minister gone pagan. And then, it takes a surreal, stomach-turning twist as they're all forced to crawl through a tiny, smelly passageway, which is eventually revealed to be part of a monstrous digestive system secreting enzymes to devour the crew and leaving no trace of them behind, except for their camera. At number 6, Butterfly Kisses. Our story here starts with Gavin York, a struggling wedding videographer and film school dropout. He stumbles upon this collection, and well, curiosity gets the best of him. These tapes belong to a documentary created by 2 film students, Sophia and Feldman, back in 2004. They were on a mission to prove the existence of a chilling urban legend, Peeping Tom. Now, this Peeping Tom character, you can supposedly summon him by staring down Ilchester Tunnel at midnight for a whole hour without blinking. Sounds terrifying, right? But here's the kicker. When they review the footage, they realize that Peeping Tom isn't just a legend. He's actually inside of the camera, stalking them. Sophia's left alone in a nightmarish struggle. Fast forward to Galvin, who's set on proving Peeping Tom's existence. He brings in a documentary crew, but things take a dark turn. Questions arise about the authenticity of the tapes and Sophia Feldman's existence and the possibility of it all being just a hoax. Galvin's obsession wreaks havoc on his personal life, and he finds himself alone, abandoned by his family. And despite his efforts to gain credibility, Galvin is mocked and humiliated. Final blow comes when he vanishes inside Ilchester Tunnel, and 9 days later, his mangled body is discovered in a hotel room. And number 5 is this organic drone. Now, what you're about to witness is a perplexing 15-second clip of someone using Google Earth to explore Japan, only to stumble upon a bizarre, unidentified flying object. It bears a resemblance to a drone, yet its eerie, organic appearance defies any human-made explanation. Could this be an extraterrestrial entity discreetly surveying our world? The enigma surrounding this footage raises eyebrows, and it's perplexing why no official statement or disclosure has been made. Is this an elaborate hoax or an undisclosed government experiment, or potentially an authentic close encounter? Possibilities are boundless. At number 4 is clip095.mp4, a cryptic enigma ensnared in a mere 15 seconds of unsettling footage, beckons curiosity, but heed the FBI's cautionary warning. At first glance, it appears as a haphazard concoction of disconcerting VHS elements. Masked figures veiled in ambiguity creep ominously. An eerie clock-like object looms, and its significance eluding comprehension. The undertone of dread lingers, akin to being late for an inexplicable appointment. Now, why, you might wonder, does the FBI warn against delving deeper into this mysterious abyss? Is this a sinister experiment gone awry, or perhaps an encrypted message veiled within this unusual visual discord? Clip 095.mp4 is a digital Pandora's box, tempting the curious to brave its haunting mysteries. At number 3 is the NBC shapeshifter footage from 1995, a piece of unsettling media that delves deep into the realm of conspiracy theories. Enter the reptile man hypothesis, a belief system suggesting that humanoid reptilian beings have coexisted with humanity since the ancient days of Mesopotamia, with many suspecting Hollywood as their clandestine hub. This peculiar clip follows NBC reporter Isaiah Carey during a routine 90s broadcast, but things take a bizarre turn. Carey nonchalantly engulfs a grasshopper, yet upon closer examination, we're confronted with a perplexing sight. An unusually elongated, somewhat pointed tongue, and an offbeat shade, a hint of green. In a curious move, Carey averts his gaze from the camera just as this peculiar act unfolds, sparking conjecture. Was this an attempt to conceal a reptilian trait, or perhaps a reaction to an embarrassing, stomach-churning moment? Could the CIA be suppressing this video to shield the existence of an alien race? Share your thoughts in the comments. The truth may be stranger than we dare to imagine. At number 2 is the movie Incantation on Netflix, the Taiwanese horror gem directed by Kevin Ko, which plunges viewers into a spine-chilling world of found footage. Lee Ronan's documentary journey to reunite with her daughter Dodo takes a sinister turn when a haunting taboo from their past resurfaces. The suspense builds as Ronan's group, including her boyfriend Dom and friend Yuan, unwittingly stumbles upon a malevolent cult ceremony in a forbidden tunnel, invoking a curse that binds their fates. Dodo's descent into the paranormal, encountering eerie baddies and a paralyzing chant, keeps us on the edge of our seats. Ronan's quest to unveil the malevolent entity, the Mother Buddha, and a sinister incantation tied to an ominous hand symbol. But the film's shocking twist at the end comes when Ronan reveals that she intentionally misled us, the viewers, sharing the incantation to dilute the curse, effectively cursing us. Desperate to save Dodo, Ronan faces the Mother Buddha's visage, bearing the curse's weight until she meets a tragic end. However, there is a glimmer of hope as we realize that we, the viewers, are now a part of the curse, forever entangled in the film's eerie narrative, which is a chilling and immersive experience unlike any other in the horror genre. Incantation leaves us with lingering dread, reminding us that we're not just spectators, we're cursed participants in this haunting tale. At number 1 is the Russian sleep experiment. The Russian sleep experiment is a chilling tale rooted in the depths of the internet's urban legends, which takes us back to the dark days of the 1940s. See, Soviet scientists allegedly embarked on a twisted journey using an experimental gas-based stimulant to keep 5 political prisoners awake for 15 harrowing days. No CCTV back then, just microphones and thick glass windows for surveillance. As the days ticked by, the subjects' conversations grew darker, more serious, hinting at the creeping vulnerability that sleep deprivation induces. Around day 5, the subjects began to display signs of severe paranoia. They whispered secrets into the microphones, desperately seeking release. Then came the screaming on the 9th day. One subject ran amok, tearing his own vocal cords out, while the others remained eerily calm, whispering secrets and plotting. But the worst was yet to come. The researchers discovered a grotesque scene on day 14. 4 subjects still technically alive, but mutilated beyond recognition, consuming their own flesh. When the soldiers attempted to remove them, chaos ensued, with one soldier losing his life. In the aftermath, the survivors showcased inexplicable resilience and an insatiable thirst for the gas that kept them awake. They were the embodiment of a darkness lurking within us all, a madness kept at bay by sleep. The tale ends with the chilling revelation as one of them utters their final word: so nearly free. At number 10 is Watergate. The whole Watergate scandal is an iconic episode in American history, which emerged from the depths of political intrigue and skullduggery. In 1972, 5 individuals were apprehended while breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters, at the Watergate office complex in Washington, D.C. Yet this was merely the tip of an iceberg of deception and malevolence. As the investigative tendrils extended, the nation learned that this break-in was just one facet of a vast conspiracy woven by figures linked to President Richard Nixon's re-election campaign, the Committee to Re-elect the President. A dark web of misdeeds unfurled, encompassing illicit wiretapping, espionage, campaign finance violations, and desperate attempts to cloak these sins in the shadows. The crescendo of this tale arrived with the revelation of the White House tapes. These recordings, captured by Nixon's Oval Office systems, delivered incontrovertible evidence of the president's entanglement in the cover-up. The dire consequence was Nixon's resignation on August 8, 1974, an unprecedented event in American politics that forever etched Watergate into our collective memory. At number 9 is VHS for sale. This eerie VHS tape is unearthed from the depths of an estate sale, which unfolds in a spine-tingling mystery that has left viewers baffled and unsettled. Among a trove of seemingly mundane items, this mysterious recording surfaces, offering a perplexing journey through a wooded expanse, innocuous enough during daylight. But it's when the nightfall that shrouds this footage in an ominous veil where the ordinary morphs into something far more sinister. Our unease is amplified as an undefinable ghostly entity is dragged ominously through the darkness. What is that mysterious and pale apparition, and why is it being dragged? The FBI warned about the consumption of such haunting footage tapes, hinting at something beyond our comprehension. Dare you venture into this unsettling realm of the unexplained, proceed with caution, for the boundaries of the ordinary blur here, and what lies within may forever haunt your thoughts. If you're enjoying this video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Most Amazing, and ringing that notification bell. I would really appreciate it if you did. At number 8 is the Chernobyl footage. In the shadowy realm of haunting found footage tapes, one chilling entry stands out: the Chernobyl footage. This eerie relic transports us back to the late 1980s, when the Chernobyl nuclear power plant became synonymous with disaster. On April of 1986, this date marked the horrific explosion and inferno that engulfed the plant, a cataclysmic result of an ill-faceted experiment aimed at bolstering reactor safety. Tragically, the reactor's design placed immense responsibility in the operator's hands, leading to this catastrophic cascade of events. The resulting radiation release sent alarms ringing as the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden, over 1,000 kilometers away, underscoring the gravity of the situation. The footage at hand here offers a mere glimpse into the post-explosion desolation. At number 7 is this siren. That's right, a real found footage of a real mermaid, but this ain't Ariel, y'all. This creepy mermaid, or whatever that bizarre aquatic entity is, raises some spine-tingling questions. See, one might have harbored a romanticized notion of meeting a mermaid, but after witnessing this unsettling footage from 2018, it's safe to say that those dreams have sailed. In the footage, we find ourselves at a mysterious dock, confronted by a creature that defies description. Its mermaid-like tail hints at a connection to folklore, yet its overall appearance is far from human. Perhaps the creature sensed the camera's graze and hastily retreated into the depths, leaving us all with unanswered inquiries. Is this truly a mermaid, or does it belong to some hidden corner of marine biology? The most perplexing aspect is the deafening silence from official channels. If such enigmatic being actually roams our oceans, then why the silence from the powers that be? The absence of the information about these underwater oddities leaves us pondering about how many other eerie secrets lurk beneath the waves.
Es una mujer. ¿Qué es una mujer tan guapa ahí? Mi cabeza. Me está llamando. Voy.
Ey,
No, no.
dame la cámara. Dame
¿Viste
la
eso?
cámara.
¿Viste la mujer que estaba ahí?
Sí, sí, sí. No, no me grabes, dame la cámara.
Se fue.
At number 6 Demon chair. It's not your typical comfy couch or soothing rocking chair, but rather a chilling encounter with the unexplained. In this unsettling footage, a seemingly innocuous used chair takes on a life of its own. Its owner must have been blissfully unaware of what was about to unfold, because as we watch this video, we see what looks like my grandmother's rocking chair that appears to move on its own, a cozy addition to the home or a gateway to the supernatural. While we can't definitively confirm the authenticity of this video, one thing remains clear. This haunting found footage tape continues to captivate our imaginations and make us question the boundary between the mundane and the paranormal.
Twitter user Blade E Lover, real name Conrad, was waiting for his buddy outside his place when an old woman started banging on his car. He rolled his window down a bit to see what the hell the problem was.
Can you not touch my car like that?
Can you give me a phone, please?
What?
Can you give me a phone? I want to send a text.
What a sneaky opener. Yeah, just give me your phone. I want to send a text. I love all the little plot holes in that request. Like, you want to send a text to someone, but you don't have a phone of your own? How do you even know the number you need to text? Do you know it off the top of your head? Are you going to stand around and wait with the guy till the person texts his phone back? Why not just call the supposed number? Anyway, I'm getting way too into the weeds with that one line. Doesn't really matter. It's a lie. We all know it's a lie, and it's not the scary part, so let's move on.
I live here.
You don't live here.
What are you doing?
Can you get your hands off my car, please?
No.
Please.
What are you doing?
So she repeatedly asks him what he's doing, saying that she lives there, but it's his friend's place, so he knows she doesn't. Now, this is confrontational, but it's not out of hand or anything. Voices aren't raised till they suddenly are.
I've been welcome to fucking Zimbabwe, you stupid little pimp. Get away from here.
So things escalate very quickly. Suddenly this woman turns into Bilbo trying to snatch the ring out of Frodo's hands. She says something about shipping off to Zimbabwe and that he's a stupid little pimp. Very creative little lines there, but looking at this guy's other Twitter posts, yeah, I don't think he's from Zimbabwe. I don't know where the hell that line came from. This one's pretty classic. Nothing is more classically ghost movie than a rocking chair rocking on its own. In a small child's bedroom, no less. Joking aside though, if I saw this at that age, I'd be mortified. Hell, if I saw it now, I'd be out of there too. Luckily, Dad comes in to pull her out of there. Now, someone in the comments said this may have been an earthquake, but I don't see anything else in the room shaking, and the camera is completely still as well. So, I don't know, that seems unlikely, but I also haven't experienced any serious earthquakes, so y'all have to let me know in the comments what you think about this one. I always like a good creepy rake video. Shared to Instagram by StephenLye86, this video starts with a young girl telling her dad that there's someone lurking in the trees by their property. Dad sees the figure just beyond the tree line and calls out to them.
Hey! What are you doing over there?
As he zooms in to get a better look though, we realize that the thing may not be a person at all. It doesn't look like one. It's shaped like some sort of, I don't even know what. It's pale white, tall and slender, and its arms look to be longer than its legs. He moves toward the trees to see what's going on, but the thing, whatever it is nowhere to be seen. What do you all think of this one? Genuine creature caught on camera, or is this one just a hoax? Reddit user Goffin to the Coffin captured some very unsettling audio on her sleep cycle app. She wrote, I use Sleep Cycle to monitor my sleep, and I've done for over 1,000 nights. This is the first time I've heard anything, let's say, odd. I'm a single 25-year-old female. Nobody else was in the flat with me. My bedroom window is open, but from the sound of the birds in the background and other instances where the app has picked up talking outside, this is close. Even when I'm mumbling in my sleep, this sounds closer. To me, it sounds like it's saying you 3 times before there's movement when I start waking up. I think it's super weird and cool. Well, let's take a listen for ourselves, shall we? No, that is not cool. That is the opposite of cool. I wouldn't be cool with that. Doesn't sound like the voice is saying you, by the way. Sounds like it's saying kill. Reddit user Brat2299 shared this image to Reddit. Notice anything strange about it? Let's zoom in a bit. Just what the hell is that? Can't be anything good, that's for sure. That's not a face that screams friendly. It's a face that screams Michael Myers, the slasher villain, not the beloved comedian. I mean, if I saw Mike Myers appear in the reflection of a picture frame in my home, I'd be a bit alarmed, confused for sure, not terrified. I'd probably just be worried that he died and was paying his fans a final visit. But the ghostly image of Michael Myers' mask, that's a lot less welcoming. In 2019, a group of real estate investors in Philadelphia were checking out an old house they bought to renovate. The place looked like the usual kind of rundown, dusty, dark, creepy, but nothing out of the ordinary at first. Then one of them noticed something weird near the staircase, a thin string stretching across the steps, barely visible. So they all took a step back and one of them prodded at the stairs with a long block of wood. And that's when this happened. The stairs were clearly booby-trapped, tripped the wire, and a crutch with a blade attached comes swinging down, likely right into your face. Luckily, these guys had done this kind of thing before. If they hadn't spotted it though, horrific. No one knows who set it up or why, but it does go to show exploring abandoned buildings might look cool online, but sometimes there's more waiting for you than just ghostly activity. I'd take that over this any day of the week. This one brought back pleasant childhood memories of running upstairs from my basement thinking I'd heard or seen something, only this kid may not have been imagining things. So he walks into the kitchen and you gotta listen really closely, but as he walks in you hear this female voice say, "How did you find me?" Take a listen. Now, there wasn't anyone in the house other than him and his mom and his brothers, but they were all upstairs, hence the utter terror and panic. Now, whether you believe something paranormal was going on or not, I mean, this kid's reaction is 100% authentic. I mean, at least I'm 99.999% sure. And this only continues because the mom described what happened after. She said he came bolting into her room screaming and crying about hearing the voice, which he said came from the cabinets. He said someone was definitely in the house and then things got worse.
Because somebody was in the house, and I'm like, and he finally did get a little bit quiet. We started hearing footsteps. I mean, big heavy feet coming up the steps.
So after hearing these loud footsteps, mom goes searching the house, but she finds nothing. So you ready to cringe so hard you pop some blood vessels? Check this out.
I know you're in there. Let me in, Daddy.
Ugh. Daddy let me in. And now, you know what? I don't think that's actually the homeowner's son. Daddy, though. That's a word that's really morphed into something else, isn't it? I don't think that word will ever be normal again. Admittedly, this video does feel more Florida-ish than Ohio, but I saw it and I just knew I had to share. I like knowing everyone else is uncomfortably groaning along with me, Really seems like having a doorbell cam is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you know if anyone's creeping onto your porch in the middle of the night, and on the other, you know who's creeping onto your porch in the middle of the night. It's like peeling back the Matrix and seeing the world for what it really is. Well, if you're not already squirming in your seat, surely you will be after this. Oh, look, it's just some sort of furry little creature curled up in a ball having a snooze. Now, always good to poke things with a stick, though, just to make sure they're alive. Were any of you expecting to see that? Ugh, that is disgusting. This clip was shared to Reddit by Luigi Hiji, and someone in the comments said, okay, but what the hell is the hairy thing? It's like they just couldn't believe, or maybe didn't want to believe, that furry thing just is all spiders. All of that. It's a huge clump. Imagine just covering your hand in something sticky and then just jamming it in there. You just come out with this giant fist of spiders. How's that for Spider-Man? From Reddit user LTibs comes the story of the ghost on the road. The Redditor wrote about how her father-in-law, who's the VP of operations at a trucking company, received a very strange video. Part of his job is reviewing dashcam footage when something goes wrong on the road, like sudden braking, swerving, and speeding. So the trucks have two cameras, one facing the driver and one facing the road. Normally, he just checks the footage to decide if a driver needs to be disciplined. But one day, he got a video that really shook him. The images you're looking at were attached to her Reddit post. Two truckers had been driving down a two-lane road in the middle of the night. It was pitch black, and the shoulder was blocked with cones, so there was nowhere to swerve. That's when both drivers saw a woman in a white dress walking directly in their lane. as they passed, she turned and looked straight at them. Thinking they'd hit her, they slammed on the brakes and jumped out of the truck, but there was no one there. They called the cops, who also searched the area, and they didn't find anything. Later, the company dug into the location and found that in 2013, a woman had died in that exact spot after being hit by 2 cars, one of which never stopped. Internally, the company started calling it the ghost incident, and no one could explain what the camera caught.
Up next is a strange creature on the road. This mysterious video features someone driving down a quiet road at night. I feel like that's how a lot of creepy stories start. You don't often hear someone start a story with, "I was driving down a desolate road alone at night," without following it up with something at least a little unsettling. This video shows some kind of figure standing on the side of the road. It's hard to make it out because, like with most unexplained videos, the quality isn't fantastic, usually shot on like a potato. And we pass by the figure pretty fast too, as the guy is driving. Some people say it looks like some kind of bird creature. I don't really see that. It looks more like a zombie to me because its neck looks like it's broken, like it's resting at a strange angle. If that even is its neck, again, it's hard to exactly tell what this thing is. Even if it isn't a mutated bird creature or a zombie, which let's face it, it most likely is, why would someone be standing on the side of the road alone at night with their neck all twisted up? I really wanted the person shooting to like slow down or back up their car to see what it was, but I get why they didn't. I'd be burning rubber to get as far away from that thing as possible too.
Number 4, Crayola Ghost. All right, here comes some imagination for you, some creativity. Here we go. This next one is honestly like a foreign one, because I got you, okay? This couple online decided it was wise to upload each and every bit of paranormal activity that goes on under their roof. Nice, someone watched Paranormal Activity movies, they're taking some notes. Some clips show a door moving on its own, but another clip that has gained quite a bit of momentum online has me torn and honestly pretty afraid. Apparently ghosts have favorite colors. Who knew? I always had a hunch, but now we have proof. These videos I like because it has other examples of non-paranormal activity in it as well. Only one marker is moving in this clip, not all of them, so perhaps there is some sort of force, some ghost force involved. Also, if you go out of your way to film something, especially something this small in comparison to, you know, all these other videos, you have my vote. I don't know, no one's gonna fake a little Crayola. That's not gonna get you any clout.
Up next, we have a poltergeist. Poltergeist, the most violent of ghosts. It's like you take a creepy apparition that, while freaky, doesn't really do much but appear in semi-translucent form in family pictures or makes rooms cold, ooh. But what if that thing could throw stuff around your house, possibly hurting you, or worse, making a mess that you have to spend your free time cleaning up? Well, this next video, uploaded by Rocky Mills, features a man who believes there's a squatter in a home that he's renovating. He's obviously heard something before he started shooting, so he begins calling out to whoever this supposed squatter is while checking every room in the house. Things seem normal until suddenly a door to the basement abruptly slams on its own. The camera guy immediately opens the door, and there's nobody there. Just a set of empty stairs leading to the basement. I don't know how someone could have done that unless they just pulled that door shut, jumped down the entire flight of stairs and did a power roll out of sight. I don't know if power roll is a real term, but just rolled quickly out of the camera view. Suddenly the man hears something, drops his phone, which is still filming, and runs off. At which point we see the phone start to spin, seemingly on its own. Something about the guy's reaction in this video just seems really genuine. I don't know, maybe it isn't a ghost, but I don't think it was a hoax either. Seems like something was going on in that house.
Number 2, haunted restaurant. Buddy, we got markers, buckets, now restaurants. Is everything haunted? Oh my lord. My last one for today is a haunted California restaurant. Nice. Make sure you tip, I guess, or else you're leaving with a demon, it seems. Cronies Bar in Ventura, California. The establishment actually released 2 videos themselves of what appears to be furniture falling and or moving on its own. The second clip shows a bar stool fall over on its own, but this time while nobody else was in sight. I've worked in a few bars in my life. I've improperly thrown up a bar stool before and then it catches me, right? It falls, it's loud, it bounces 11 times. It scares you, but this time the stool was still on the ground, so ergo, haunted. If you have any leading theories yourself, comment down below. I'm gonna be coming back looking for answers. I'd love to sleep tonight, so thanks.
And number 1, we got the Jharkhand alien. Next, we're looking at another video taken of a strange creature filmed by a group of bikers. Seems like if you ride around on a motorbike enough, you're bound to spot a weird naked humanoid at some point. This video is taken in Jharkhand, India, and though the footage is grainy, once again, it appears as if there is a pale, incredibly thin, alien-looking creature walking along the side of the road. And though the figure is hard to make out, I do agree that it looks decidedly alien. Appears to have no hair, walks in an unnatural manner, and at first, I thought I spotted big glowing eyes on its head, but then it turns around, revealing that whatever the glowing eye-looking things were actually on the back of its head. So, I don't know, but this one's strange. Maybe it's not an alien, or maybe it's just a really pale, naked person taking a stroll along the middle of the road at night, which again, is kinda unsettling on its own.
Number 10, ghost pet. Okay, I'll kick this journey off with some pets from the afterlife. We love that. That's always nice to know, I guess. I grew up with 2 dogs, 2 cats, a bird, a guinea pig at some point, you know. We love animals growing up. I never thought of the idea of ghost animals. I never actually thought about it, right? I've seen tons of footage where the ghost is human shaped or whatever. I've never thought about an actual animal ghost. Is that calming? Is that terrifying for you? Is it possible? First of all, check this out. Okay, so maybe you're thinking it's probably air. Maybe they're sitting on an air vent of some sorts, the blanket's moving, whatever. I thought that too, but then I kept watching. I don't know, this doesn't seem like an airflow if you ask me. I've seen some vents in my lifetime. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm torn on this one personally. A ghost cat? What a nightmare.
So this video taken by bikers on an island in Indonesia called Sumatra starts off pretty normal until what looks to be a very small naked man holding a spear suddenly appears in the middle of the dirt road. And when I say it just appears, I mean like comes out of nowhere. I tried going through frame by frame and just couldn't see where the little dude came from. He abruptly runs off and the bikers ride after him before he slips into the bushes. Now this part's crazy, because for a couple different reasons. First off, the bushes barely even seem to rustle when he runs into them, and when the bikers dismount from their bikes to investigate, you can see that their heads are at least the same height of the grass, or even taller, and the little man or creature, well, he looked to be about like half the size of the grass. Some say this is a member of a mythical tribe known as the Mante, while others say it could just be a hoax. I don't know though, this one looks real, like there was definitely some little guy running around there.
Number 8, ghost kid. Okay, moving from ghost animals to ghost humans. Here we go, a little bit more familiar. This next clip of unexplained footage comes from a TikTok user named Yushiani66. Now this is a school of some sorts, I'm guessing, and there's a music class, some sort of musical presentation that's lovely at first, but it looks as if a ghost child just appears out of nowhere on the right side and then just disappears again, just like that. Check it out. Yeah, it's almost like the person switches dimensions for a bit. They just change their mind, I guess. I don't know. They watch Loki, it seems. I'm a big fan of ghost footage. I love that. I've seen some odd blurs in my own personal home videos. I've seen a few odd things myself. We'll talk about it later. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I feel like I believe in ghosts.
Up next, we have a woman with a sharp kitchen utensil on a doorbell cam. So this next video really made me want to run out and put a security camera by my front door, and after this you'll probably want to do the same. A man woke up in the middle of the night to his doorbell being rung, and now first off, I feel like anytime someone knocks on your door or rings your doorbell in the middle of the night, it's probably not for a good reason, right? Either you're getting some bad news or something seriously unsettling is going on, and that's what happens here. We see an elderly woman standing in front of the man's door, rocking back and forth, which is like unsettling enough in the middle of the night. Even during the day, if you didn't know her, it'd be like, what? But she's also brandishing a sharp kitchen utensil in her hand, patiently waiting for him to come down and open the door. Well, I say patiently, but she seems to be ringing the doorbell like over and over again and can't seem to stand still. What makes this video so unsettling is wondering what would have happened if he didn't have a security camera and opened the door. Unless he was just being a friendly neighbor and wanted to give him a brand new kitchen utensil, I don't see how this would have ended well. Hopefully the woman is okay. She, something's going on there.
Number 6, ghost janitor. James and I are coming for everything on this list. We got poltergeists, haunted school plays, ghost cats playing under blankets, you name it. I'm trying to get a little bit of everything involved. This next one here reminds me of my old high school. Pretty sure that's Sinclair Secondary. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was haunted. This clip was posted on YouTube by user Tubber Rubber. Awesome name, might I add. It's them filming security footage, and in it we see a janitor cleaning station just rolling on its own. Now, one of two things is happening here. One, there is indeed a ghost pushing this cart down a hallway, which, if that's the case, unreal. You're committed to the bit even after death. You deserve a raise. Awesome. Or two, the water is splashing around, causing the cart to move on its own. I don't know, one of the two. I'm kind of torn. The other night I was boiling water, and then out of nowhere, this thing started just sliding off the burner zone by itself. It was scary, but sometimes momentum plus water equals, is that a ghost? What do you think? Comment down below.
Number 5. Standing visitor. A woman who wished to remain anonymous checked her doorbell camera to find a stranger standing outside her house and staring for a few minutes. The resident, who lives in one of the houses in the Darlings of Hart Village near Hartpool, said the incident happened at 3:15 a.m. on Monday, January 31st, 2022. She shared the alarming footage to a local community Facebook page and warned other residents to be careful. In the clip, a tall, skinny-built man in a dark-colored jacket walks to the footpath right in front of her house and stops midway. He stalls and appears to check on his phone before stepping forward again, taking a pause. Now, according to the timestamp, he stayed for about 6 minutes before he walked away from the camera. The woman said he stood there for a few minutes from 3:15 a.m. to 3:21 a.m. She added then that he disappeared for an hour, not sure where, and then he came back running from the side of her house into a car. Nothing seems to be taken, but it's just super creepy, she said. She asked her neighbors to see if they have seen the man near their houses, but they said no, but a resident replied on her Facebook page that something similar happened to them a few weeks ago. Number 4. Kidnapping. On November 12, 2019, disturbing footage of a woman screaming for help was captured from a Ring doorbell camera in Los Angeles around 11 p.m. Now, the police were not aware of the doorbell footage until the following morning, but responded to a report of a possible kidnapping. LAPD officer Mike Lopez said responding authorities could not find evidence of a crime, and after the footage came to light, the LAPD reopened their investigation. Now, the screams were thought to be coming from a white vehicle that drives down the street. A woman is heard yelling, "Somebody help me," and a witness claims she also heard a man say, "I'm sorry." Now, what's crazy about this footage though is that the neighbor comes out of her house and hears all the screaming and does absolutely nothing. The bystander effect is truly disgusting, and she could have saved that woman. Number 3. Doorbell licker. On January 8, 2019, police started searching for a man in Salinas, California, who spent 3 hours licking a doorbell in the middle of the night. The individual in question, Roberto Daniel Aurora, was easy to track down thanks to a newly installed surveillance system at the home. The Duggan family were not home when Roberto made his way to their doorbell, but their children were. Roberto also moved an extension cord in the front yard, and he relieved himself on camera. But yeah, he licked a doorbell for 3 hours, which is just disturbing. You kind of laugh about it afterwards because technically he didn't harm anyone, he didn't break anything, homeowner Sylvia told ABC, but I don't know if I'd be able to laugh about it though because it was extremely weird. Number 2. Strange woman. On August 24th, 2018, a resident from the Sunrise Ranch neighborhood in Montgomery, Texas, contacted local authorities after a strange woman rang her doorbell in the middle of the night. A partially undressed woman who appeared to be wearing some sort of hand restraint rang the bell and left. Some people believe she was related to a local missing persons, but law enforcement do not believe that she matched the missing person flyers that were sent in. Now, deputies canvassed the area with descriptions of the mysterious woman and asked neighbors if they had heard anything. Then on August 29th, authorities identified the 32-year-old woman as only Lauren. Police confirmed that she was alive after a house call. A man in the home threatened to end his life, and when authorities arrived, they discovered the man, later identified as Dennis Collins. He had died from a self-inflicted. Now, Dennis's girlfriend was the mysterious woman. Authorities say she is the victim of domestic violence. On September 18th, Lauren opened up on Inside Edition detailing how she ended up at the doorbell. She fell asleep next to her boyfriend of 4 months and woke up to what seemed like a nightmare. "I woke up and he was kneeling on my chest and stuffing some sort of cloths in my mouth," she said. "I truly felt like I was going to die that night." And And coming in at number 1 is house explosion. On August 16th of this year, an explosion in a residential suburb outside of Pittsburgh left 6 people dead, including a father and son, and injured several others. It destroyed 3 houses and damaged at least a dozen more, authorities said. First responders who rushed to the plum found people trapped under debris and took 3 people to the hospital. The remains of 5 victims, 4 adults and 1 child, was also found at the scene. Another person died a couple days later at a local hospital. The Allegheny County Office of the Medical Examiner said that the incident appeared to begin when one house exploded, engulfing 2 neighboring homes in flames as well, according to the county. Now, multiple other homes were damaged with windows blown out, and crews from 18 fire departments covered the scene and put out the flames and sift through the rubble. Now, what's incredible is that a neighboring house caught the explosion on camera. Fire officials are still investigating the cause of the explosion, and investigators are aware the homeowners of the exploded house were having issues with the water tank in their basement and are looking into that as a potential cause, along with any and all other possibilities, they said in an update. "I heard this boom. It was so loud that it woke me up. I thought it was thunder from the storms last night," a neighbor, Alexis Tempinski, told CNN affiliate WTAE. "My water bottle fell on me instantaneously. I was shaking. It scared me so bad." Coming in at number 10 is Let Me In. Now, Mandy set up Ring cameras around her rural property to capture footage of the wildlife, but when the mom of 2 was out with her family one night, she got a notification about movement near her back door. When she looked at the footage, she noticed a shadow before someone loudly whispers the words, "Let me in." There is then rapid scratching as if someone is trying to enter her home. Now, terrified by the encounter, she started closely monitoring her cameras, and when she found more footage of a figure lurking near her back shed, and then another night a cloaked person slowly walked up to her backyard, staring up at her house. Now, in the first clip, a strange figure walks into the corner of the frame and lingers near Mandy's back shed before leaving. In the second clip, the person makes her way into the backyard and stands just a meter from the back steps, near where Mandy was tending to her sick baby inside. "We notified authorities, but this is making me feel angry, confused, and concerned," she said. Now, Mandy went on to explain that she had now added extra security cameras with floodlights, and that the US couple are now armed in order to protect their family from any future trespassers. Now, people were incredibly disturbed by the footage Mandy had captured, saying they believed the first one to be a spirit, but the second one to be an actual person messing with the family. Yeah, I think they need to move ASAP. Number 9. Are you sure? Now, this footage scares me to my core. It shows a man approaching a house and repeatedly knocking on the door while repeating, "I just have a couple questions for you. Are you sure?" Now, this goes on for a couple of minutes before a man responds over the Ring doorbell. At this point, the footage turns all the more unsettling as the man at the door says he wants to take advantage of and end the life of the woman inside the house. Now, the footage was shared by Amanda Nowak of Las Vegas, and according to Amanda, she was inside the house hiding during the entire encounter. Now, the man never saw her and was never actually speaking directly to her in the tense 3 minutes, and thankfully the man has been arrested, but that doesn't make the footage any less unnerving. Number 8. Past homeowner. Apparently, if your family owned a property decades ago and sold it, that still means it's yours. Well, at least according to Judy Klein. Since January 2022, she has been harassing a Mexican family in St. Louis, Missouri, accusing them of being in the country illegally. Over several incidents, Judy had broken into their basement, damaged items, racially family, and threatened them with a hammer. It wasn't until Ring footage of her shouting obscenities on the family's doorstep was put online that the authorities took things more seriously. In the past year, Judy had reportedly only been taken into custody temporarily, which is why she kept coming back. In February 2023, Judy was arrested on several charges, including burglary and using a weapon. In June, she gained another offense with interference of housing rights, and now she's also banned from being near or contacting the family. Number 7. The Masked Man. Finding a masked man at your front door in the middle of the night can be pretty scary, but when that man returns to your home 3 times in 1 week, it's downright frightening, a blogger for Ring explains. Now, they said that because that's exactly what happened to a family in Milford, Connecticut. After just a couple of days into their vacation, where they were more than 100 miles away from their home, Ring alerted them that a masked man was at their front door. Though he couldn't break in, he returned a few days later. Now, despite the family sending the videos to police and local news stations, questions, the man returned again. This time, however, he was arrested, and thank God, because who knows what he would have tried to do. Number 6. Poison. A man who lived below a family in Florida got fed up with hearing noises from above him and felt that his complaints were not being heard, so he tried to poison them, and it was caught on camera. Umar Abdullah, his pregnant wife, and their young daughter moved into the apartment complex in June 2022. The man below them soon began sending angry texts to his new neighbors, complaining that he was losing sleep over the sound of a toilet seat clanging. Soon after, the family suddenly began experiencing unexplained bouts of nausea and dizziness. A family friend first noticed a chemical odor while grabbing a package for them while they were away on vacation. Umar then also noticed the scent and suspected an issue with his water heater. However, the stench persisted even after he replaced the appliance and had his air ducts and vents cleaned. Now desperate for resolution, he called the fire department, who conducted tests but found nothing amiss. Now he eventually noticed a small crack in his doorway and began to suspect his neighbor. After falling ill yet again, he set up a hidden camera outside his door and was shocked to see his neighbor crouching down and emptying a syringe under his front door. The man used a laboratory on the University of South Florida campus to mix and load liquid syringes on multiple occasions with the intent to harm residents of the condominium. He was then arrested on June 27th, and a hazmat team revealed the liquid chemical agent contained a combination of methadone and hydrocodone, both opioid pain medications. Now, word of the shocking poisoning sent other residents of the Oxford Place at Tampa Palms into a state of panic, and according to a suit, they seek to kick out the man and his co-owner roommate from the complex.
This is Zlata, one of the most flexible women in the world. Zlata, whose real name is Julia Guntel, is a world-famous contortionist known for doing things with her body that most of us can't even imagine, let alone attempt. I can barely get through a night of sleep without my shoulders and my back hurting. I can't even imagine doing stuff like this. She was born in Kazakhstan and raised in Germany. She started out as a gymnast before realizing she had an extreme level of flexibility that went way beyond the norm. Poses where she basically turns herself into a human knot. She's been performing since she was a teenager and eventually earned the nickname Zlata, which means golden in Russian, fitting considering she's held multiple world records. Her spine is so flexible that she's able to rotate her upper body 180 degrees. A lot of her poses just look like they've been photoshopped. Not the case though. Zlata's appeared on TV shows and live circus acts and in lots of photo shoots that really show off her insane flexibility. Isao Machi is this martial artist from Japan who's just on a whole different level with the katana. He practices Iaido, an old school samurai art where you draw and strike in one smooth motion, but what sets him apart is how freakishly fast and precise he is. One of the wildest things he can do is slice a BB pellet in half in mid-air. So here, watch this.
Oh, I heard it.
So that's a tiny plastic ball fired from an airsoft at crazy speed, and this guy draws his katana from the sheath and cuts it clean through as it's flying at him. That's not just impressive, that is full-on real-life anime stuff. And just to drive it home, most people wouldn't even be able to see a BB pellet flying through the air, let alone react fast enough to hit it with a blade. Incredible. And now for a different kind of movement, straight up flying. This is a rather famous piece of footage that's been circulating online for years. Apparently this was filmed in a forest somewhere in Russia. The camera person's dog seems disturbed by something and runs off ahead. When the cameraman steps into a clearing, we see something completely unexpected. A woman is standing on the ground looking up at a young girl who's just hovering in the air. Soon they realize they're being filmed and they rush off back into the forest. This video falls firmly into that mysterious internet video category. There's not a lot of information about it. It was posted back in 2012 and went viral. There's not a whole lot of information on it. This was filmed at the pedestrian bridge in Kiev, not exactly where you'd expect to see Spider-Man hanging out, but apparently he was. Looks a lot like Spider-Man to me anyway. I don't know how you guys feel. If there's anything we know about Spider-Man though, it's that he does not move like a normal person. So why is this person crawling along this bridge? It seems pretty risky. The water down there doesn't look deep at all, so if they slipped, it wasn't gonna end well. unless they've got actual web-slinging powers. A fall from that height could do real damage. So who is this? Some adrenaline junkie? Someone who's just lost it completely? I have no idea. I'm just kind of hoping it really is Spider-Man. This is a weird one. A man completely frozen in place in the middle of the street. Again, no real info on this one. It just is what it is. Weird. And no, we have not paused the clip. This is the footage. What's nuts about this one isn't just that the guy is frozen in place. He's like mid-stride. He looks like an NPC glitching in a video game instead of someone just standing really still. I can't see any movement from this guy. No twitching, like no subtle movement of any kind. It's pretty impressive, honestly. Any thoughts on this one? Share your thoughts down below. And finally, we have this mysterious piece of footage. Look, hospitals are already the last place I want to be. Aside from like waking up buried alive in a coffin or in a burlap sack in the lake, still, hospitals not where I want to be. So seeing this would just make things all the more uncomfortable for me. Probably not as uncomfortable as her, because her back looks like it's about to snap, but I'd be pretty freaked out.